innovation, sustainability, and technology that are also IAIR top topics.
In your opinion, what is your strategy for improving an industry like yours?
Hello, everybody. It's very simple, actually. We've seen it happen a few years ago. The financial market when it crashed. International business is very important. We've seen the weakness in the U.S. market, that majority of the banks in the U.S., they focus more on domestic business, and Alibaba is taking strategic in more global transactions. And we looked at countries that they need the services to be able to conduct transactions digitally, not physically. We call it the digital dollar. And we provided our software to countries in Asia and in Europe, which is a little bit undeveloped in the technology part, based on the banking system, that they were more relying on generating income based on refinance and loans for commercial properties and residential properties, and they left the e-commerce part alone because they never saw the future that e-commerce and electronic transaction is going to be what it is today, which is generating 60% of all income for shops or even websites online and etc. So banks never paid attention to that. And about 20 years ago, when we looked at what could possibly be changed in the internet world and what could possibly be done to accommodate consumers all around the world, is to add credit card payments online. So websites can transact and they can generate income, and we can be many entrepreneurs as they came out, and as we see today, I think there's a lot of very new billionaires and multi-millionaires through tiny apps that they create, and based on transactions that they do electronically. And we open the channel for people to transact in every single region in the world. Basically, you can be in the US and you can accept transactions from Japan, from China, from Europe, while the domestic banks, they're a little bit more tied up based on the compliance rules that they have, because they're not much experience in the technology world. And I give you a small, small tip. U.S. domestic bank, if you ever transact with it, if you have anything over 8% of your transaction come outside the U.S. jurisdiction, they consider this as potentially high fraud for the future. So they'll terminate your account and they'll literally put you out of business, because they don't understand why would you accept 8% of your traffic from abroad, from outside the U.S. jurisdiction. And in the eyes of Allied Wallet, that's not a problem, because the internet is global. And if you want to accept transaction, if you have your customer in Germany, in France, in Spain, in Italy, regardless where he is, and he likes your item, he wants the purchases, you can just go on the website and buy the product. It should not be a problem. Money is money. But but a lot of domestic banks, they look at it as potential risk, because they don't know the consumer, they don't know where that consumer bank, what kind of underwriting they've done on his account to issue the Visa, MasterCard, whatever it is, payment that he's paying with, and it became an issue. And talking about future. The future of this payment business, I see, and it's grown a lot. It's grown probably about 300% in the past 2 years. Mobile payments. Mobile payments became the number one payment option. A lot of people, you see them sitting on benches, or in the hotel room, or lying on the couch in the house with the iPhone or the Android phone, and just clicking applications. Making transactions and bypassing different laptops, or bypassing travel agency, and on and on and on. And the thing that Allied Wealth is working on to make things easier and make things more convenient for consumers, it's called tokenization. Tokenization, it's part of the memory. Whatever you type, it stores in your system, and we're going to link the tokenization into a passcode. Basically, if whatever website you purchase from, if you ever want to go back on it, it memorizes all your information. The only thing you do is just type your password, and it will ask you if you agree to this amount, and you can execute transactions. Because we've seen people becoming more impatient in spending time to execute transactions. Same thing with YouTube and many other products out there. Less time is more convenient. So if you shrink the time to execute transaction from 4 minutes to 3 seconds or 4 seconds, it just gains more, more traffic and more business. That's what I say.
Thank you so much. And this is, I think that Mr. Khawaja, I have a question for you regarding what the International Monetary Fund recently said, that the global economy was more likely to enjoy a reasonable recovery over the next 2 years, benefiting from recent falls in energy prices and exchange rate movements. The World Economic Outlook is in fact the first since 2011 to suggest economies are putting the 2009 financial crisis behind that. And you mentioned something like that before. So we are also expecting that India will overcome China regarding also the growth. What do you think about that? What do you think about the fact that maybe this crisis is behind us?
I mean, first of all, I love to talk about China, and I seem to agree with 1,000%. I love the Chinese subject. I do spend a lot of time in Hong Kong and as well in China, and we probably one of the first e-commerce company has entered the Chinese jurisdiction and conducted business in China, which is about 9 years ago. The economy, of course, it will do better, that's for sure, and the reason why more people are making better money than they used to make before, and with the ability to transact online, you can see increase in volume. Every year, it's going up by, give and take, 150%. That's an indication to prove that the internet is connecting the planet. And it's making it much more easier for people to buy product online from different jurisdictions. In regards to India, I pretty much doubt that India will take over China. And I have reasons for that, because majority of the Chinese-owned companies, they government-owned. Of course, they have corporations. There's a CEO behind the corporation. I mean, just very similar to Alibaba. It's went on the IPO, New York Stock Exchange, $227 billion, but it's Chinese-owned government. Nobody knew the Chinese-owned government until the company went public and it was announced that the CEO, he owns 7% of the company. Everybody back in the day said, oh, it's owned by, it's not. So same thing with the Chinese corporations. Majority of the Chinese corporations, the government owned, and the Chinese government will not let go. And it's a way to dominate the world, and dominate the world by exporting a product, and the product is the Chinese government itself. And they need to put the front man to, to make it easy for government entities to conduct business with them. It's very difficult to have the U.S. government selling product. It will be question mark. Again, on the Indian market and the other markets, yes, we see a large growth in transactions in India. We see a large growth actually in transactions in Brazil. Brazil, it's a market that I'd be more concerned about in growing than India actually. Brazil, it's a very fast growing market, extremely large population, very smart people, very clever, and spenders as well. And there's a lot of new wealth in Brazil. that you'd be surprised. And as well, Mexico. Mexico, it's an amazing country now. It's becoming better. There's a lot of money in Mexico. And the banking system in Mexico is improving a lot. And they're expanding more into the transaction world. It means that a lot of banks that never offer merchant accounts services, they offer it now. And they're providing good technology in the mobile payments. And we see increase in the Mexican transactions as well. People spending more money online than used to 6 years ago. It really tripled between 6 years and today. And you go down to Latin America, we see a lot of increase in the Latin American business, and as well in the Asian business. Countries like probably never even Indonesia. Indonesia is growing, Malaysia is doing very well as well, and you go to Bangladesh. It's a country that people think it's only full of flood, but the transactions are picking up, and that's an indication that, like I said at the beginning of the conversation, a lot of the people they used to be considered poor. They having access to spend money online, and they're finding ways to spend it, and they're doing it, and that's actually moving the economy to a better place. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your International Monetary